Hey guys, Kev here, and I am going to do my full review on the Asher Knife Co. Spiro. So, as you guys know, it is Asher Knife Co. week on the channel. I seem to be doing this where I get a few knives from a company and they kind of just bunch up, and I end up doing all the reviews at the same time or the first impressions or whatever. And last week it was Finch, this week it's Asher. So I don't want to bore you with repeating myself from the ones you probably saw yesterday or whatever. The Asher Knife Co. Spiro is a very interesting knife to me because I was kind of involved in the process of it in a sense. So Justin from Asher Knife Co., he's a good dude. He's basically a buddy at this point. He sent me the prototype of this knife, which I have right here, in this gray G10 with this yellow backspacer. He sent me this in the summer sometime, and I gave my feedback on it, and other people gave their feedback on it, and he ended up coming out with this. This is the production version of it, and oh my god, the changes he made are just, I mean, it's just so night and day how much better this knife is. And this is a good knife. I had this on my kitchen counter as our home, like, just beater knife for months, and it worked fantastically. My wife and I used it all the time. I'm sure it's still beat up. I don't know if you could see the gunk on there. I think I cleaned it up a bit, but we used the crap out of this. It's a good knife, and this thing is even better. You'll see right off the bat some of the differences. The blade shape is pretty much the same. It looks like maybe they changed the grind a little bit. But one of the main differences is around the pivot area. So you'll see around the pivot area, there's this kind of line right here, or this little hump. On this one, it's more of a flat and it's longer. And that kind of shortens up this section a little bit, whereas this one's a little bit longer, and it gives you a bit more grip right here, whereas this one, you're kind of backed up, and then you can go forward and kind of use this as a choke point. But on this one, you're just in a good spot from the beginning right here. You don't have to do that, and you really can't with this. I just think this feels so much more comfortable. Another main difference is the handle scales. So they're both G10, but this is like a flat, like kind of rough, not very chamfered material. And this is a contoured, like rounded G10. It's very soft and chamfered on all edges. Just feels very, very good. It's a lot better. The pivot on this one was a spinning pivot. So you could literally sit there and kind of like spin this. That has been changed according to Justin. I haven't taken this apart, but this should have a D-shaped pivot or a keyed pivot. So it's not a spinning pivot, which is cool. The action is identical, which is good because the action on this is fantastic. The detent, just when you break that detent, it flies out. This particular prototype had a detent lash issue. You can see here. There's a lot of room in there, and then you can push it up to where the tip almost comes out before it breaks. Now, that was an issue when I got the prototype, and he assured me this is the only one that has that issue, and I checked with other people who got a prototype, and sure enough, I was the only one who had that issue. And guys, I've said it a million times, if there's a lemon, I get it. This happened to be a lemon prototype. The first one of these I got also had a super light detent, and he replaced that for me. So it's just, that's just how it goes, guys. For me, anyway. But anyway, the thumb studs on here are very intuitive. I'd say they have this 3-step kind of look to them. It's a little rough on your fingers when you deploy it because the detent is a tiny bit stiff, which I like. But it is a little rough on your fingers, so if your fingers are delicate or sore or anything like that, this might not be the perfect knife for you. My fingers tend to feel different at different times of day. It's really weird. In the morning and at night, my fingers are like sore-ish, or they're more susceptible to feeling any kind of pressure like that. But then in the middle of the day and throughout, I don't notice anything, and it's fine. It's really weird. But like right now, this is absolutely perfect. They feel fantastic. Thumb flick, Spidey flick, everything feels good. So, I don't know. So aesthetically on this guy, I like it. It's just an interesting looking design, kind of an overall kind of curve, very, very slight curve along the entire knife. Drop point blade with a nice tip here. A neutral handle with this one little kind of finger groove here for your index finger. No jimping anywhere on the knife, which is fantastic. Not even on the lock bar, which works fantastically, not having jimping there, and it definitely helps with ergos. So aesthetically, I think it's a cool looking knife. Is it the best looking knife ever? No. But it's definitely a cool looking knife, and a pretty standard looking cool EDC type knife, right? Then if we talk about materials, S35VN, G10, stainless liners, stainless steel deep carry clip that goes most of the way to the butt of the end. You have a liner lock here. It's a steel liner lock, which works great for a lefty because you don't have a frame lock to worry about with pressure issues. Ergonomics, again, I mentioned earlier, this one fits perfectly in my hand. I fit all 4 fingers on. My index finger rests in this groove here, and then my 3 fingers go down here. Feels comfortable. I can put my thumb up here without jimping. Doesn't matter. Feels great. Action. So I mentioned the thumb studs are very good. The detent is dialed into perfection. That is one thing Asher Knife Co. does very well. Their detents are spot on. And you guys know I appreciate a very good detent. And that's probably why I have an affinity for Asher Knife Co. Because their detents are always dialed in very well on their production models. So, and then you'll still get a smooth kind of droppy action. Like, it's just really cool what they're doing. This knife is $75, so it's not breaking the bank for S35VN, contoured G10, all very good things. Cutting. The blade on this is sharp. It's got a good grind. I'd say it's relatively thin behind the edge, somewhere around 18 thousandths. It slices very well. Oh, that was me there. I mean, it's sharp. It works. It's very good, guys. Since I've been doing it with all the Ashers, I'll do the shave test for you. Here's some hair for you for the collection. Man, my wife's going to kill me. There's paper and hair all over the place. But yeah, it's a very good cutter, very good edge. I mean, he did a fantastic job upgrading the blades from the first releases he had last year. So yeah, I love this knife, and I love Asher knives. I'll keep saying it. Cool JG10 backspacer there. This is a good use of JG10. So I absolutely hate D2 and I hate JG10 because companies keep putting them together and it just pisses me off. I'm going to be 100% honest. If anybody ever sends me a JG10 and D2 knife, I'll refuse to review it. I won't carry it. I won't even look at it. I will freaking throw that thing across the street. I hate it. But that was a little much, but you get my point. But this is a good use of it. A nice little backspacer. That's cool. And if you want to take this out and dye it and make this knife your own a little bit, you can. That's cool. And guys, I get why JG10 is popular because you can dye it. But I just hate the look of it naturally. And not everybody's a modder. Like, I don't know. I just think it's a waste. Like, companies will do black G10, they'll do blue, and then they'll do jade. Like, I don't know, we could have had another cool color. But no, we have to have freaking jade. And then the D2. Don't even get me started. So, back to the Spiro here, guys. I like it. It's a good knife. That's pretty much the start and the end of it. I recommend it to lefties. I recommend it to righties. I think it's a cool knife. Check it out. $75. If you want to use my code LEFTY10, LEFTY10 at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. I don't make any money from that. I just love the company and want to support Justin. He's a great dude. So thank you for listening to me rant and rave about the Asher Knife Co. Spiro here. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later.